So now with Carol Douglas. Carol is currently the Community Woodland Officer with Yorkshire Dales Millennium Trust. Carol's been involved in the environmental sector for over 30 years, working for several different organisations, including the National Trust, Farming and Wildlife Advisory Group and Friends of the Lake District. She has enjoyed working for the Yorkshire Dales Millennium Trust for the last 4 years, and her current role as Woodland Development Officer includes overseeing the Woodland Grant Programme and providing opportunities for people to get involved in woodland activities. So Carol's focus this morning is particularly the Together for Trees project, but do add any other bits you'd like to, Carol, within your time.
So that photo, it's showing us as a staff team out on a tree planting day. Actually, there's only probably about half of the staff there, so we're not such a small charity anymore. We are a growing charity with nearly 30 staff now, many of whom I've not seen for over a year nearly now. So I'm very much looking to when lockdown lifts and I can get out with my colleagues again. So the Millennium Trust, we cover various areas of work, lots of different things going on, whether it's working with school groups. I know we've got Anthea on the call today, and we have various small community grant programs, but we're also involved in bigger partnership schemes such as the Stories in Stone Landscape Partnership, Pendle Winds Partnership, and Westmoreland Dales, and the Teeswell actually. So yeah, the work sort of covers lots of areas. But today I was just going to tell you a little bit about the woodland work. So since the Trust was formed in 1996, we've supported the planting of 1.6 million trees or thereabouts. This photo shows a nice woodland in bloom at Oswick. So I can't wait for spring to come upon us and for the bluebells to come out again. I don't think there's any need. All of you here will be aware of the multiple benefits of trees and woodlands. So that slide was just to sort of capture that a little bit. For me personally, woodlands, you know, especially during lockdown, it's just about being out in the woods, being around trees gives a great amount of joy to myself. But there's multiple benefits, obviously, of tree planting. So whether it's to help reduce flooding or for habitat creation, and obviously high on everyone's agenda is the fact that trees can capture carbon and help to mitigate the impact of climate change. So I think now more than ever before, trees have become a really political issue. You know, the government now has massive targets for tree planting. I think it's 30,000 hectares per year they're wanting planted. So yeah, it's becoming more and more the thing of the moment, really. So here at the Trust, all of our woodland work is done in partnerships. So when I say we've supported the planting of 1.6 million trees, we've certainly not done that single-handedly. All of our woodlands are planted on privately owned land, and very often we're involving communities in the planting. And we work with many different organisations in partnership, whether it's to access funding streams or to give other advice. So this slide just gives a sample of those that we're working with. Oh yeah, I put this slide in really to remind me, Neil, I haven't forgotten. So Neil's hoping to do some more planting next winter on his farm. And yeah, because the world of woodland has gone bonkers, apologies that I haven't got back to you yet, Neil, but I will do. Because we support landowners at YDMT through our ongoing woodland grant programme. So we can fund up to 100% of the costs involved in creating a new woodland. And our grant programme really is to focus on small woodland schemes that wouldn't be eligible for Forestry Commission funding or through other agri-environment schemes. But those small woodlands that, you know, they're a vital part of our habitat creation and provide connectivity and biodiversity. So, you know, they really are beneficial. So one of the other main areas of my work is to ensure that we create at least one supporter woodland a year. So this supporter woodland, as we call them, it's a mechanism for us to fund our ongoing grant programme by allowing individuals to dedicate trees, whether it's in memory of a loved one or for a celebration or other reason. And this photo, it shows our latest site of the supporter woodland we now have at Low Branthwaite in Sedbergh, where we actually had the school children out there planting all the trees for us. So they planted over 2,000 trees, which have already been dedicated. So the pressure is on me to find a new supporter woodland. So if anyone's got a large area of land they'd like to to support us with, for our dedications, that would be great. Another key area for me is delivering an ongoing programme of woodland activities. So we often have outreach groups coming in from neighbouring urban areas to help us with tree planting. But we also work with local groups. This slide shows a group of young rangers that came out planting with us. And we provide planting opportunities for all our corporate supporters that give us funding. But everyone, it seems like everyone always wants to get out planting trees. So we're trying to encourage more and more events and activities in the future where we can allow people the opportunity. I think this photo is a little bit deceptive because it makes it look like it's always sunny when we're out tree planting. I can assure you that's not the case. Obviously, tree planting, it's a winter activity. And so there's often many challenges as far as harsh conditions and snow and hail. And I think sometimes it's not the experience that people are expecting, but it's memorable. So another area of my work is now focusing on a project called Plastic-Free Woodlands. Obviously, this photo does not show a plastic-free woodland. There's the sun shining through those tubes, and this is very often what you see when you see a new woodland, lots of tubes across the landscape. I think with the increased awareness of tree planting, it's coincided with that increased awareness of the worry of plastic pollution in the environment. And I could put forward a case for arguing that the amount of carbon a single tree will capture over its lifetime is far more than the carbon it takes to create a single tube to protect it. But the fact remains that plastic tree wells are not sustainable, and we don't want them littering our environment or getting into the watercourses. So the Yorkshire Dales Millennium Trust, we've been successful in securing funding from the European Outdoor Conservation Association. And we're working on this project with many others. We're hoping to deliver some events this summer to get people out helping us to clear redundant tubes. With Friends of the Dales, we're working closely hand in hand with Friends of the Dales to do this work. And we've got 2 central collections organised. We haven't set a date yet, but we're hoping summertime, where landowners or groups can bring all their used redundant plastic tubes and they'll be sent for recycling. Because Tubex now have launched a recycling scheme and they can recreate new tubes from the recycled material. So that's one thing we're doing as part of this project, but we're also working very closely at a national level with Forest Research and the Forestry Commission and Natural Resources Wales and Scotland, and we're really all collaborating to try and address the problem of single-use plastics in forestry. Because although we're all aware of the tree bug problem, one of the bigger problems is actually the plastic tree bags that all the trees come in. There's thousands and thousands of tree bags being used each year in the forestry industry, and it's becoming increasingly important that we need to address other areas of plastic as well as the tubes. Now, on to Together for Trees. So it was 2 years ago that we launched our Together for Trees campaign with the aim really of trying to plant 100,000 additional trees across the Dales. So I think when we come to the end of this winter, we'll have successfully reached that target. But also we were lucky enough to secure additional funding from the Green Recovery Challenge Fund. So we've managed to secure an extra 250,000, which we have to spend by next March. So we've got a year where we really need to sort of increase our outputs. And so we're going to be working very closely, hopefully, with Settle 8 and other communities. We're wanting to create 30 new woodlands, a kilometre of hedgerow, 80 landscape trees. We're starting to think about the need for more landscape trees, particularly to address ash dieback, and also to engage lots more people. So as part of Together for Trees, Fiona in the check shirt there, she's going to be providing lots of woody activities and opportunities for people to get engaged in. And we're hoping to encourage community groups. This is a group at Hebden. We're hoping we can encourage the community groups to help us create accessible community woodlands, and bring people together. As this photo shows, this was in the centre of Hebden. They planted 100 trees as a group there as their community woodland. So we're hoping to be able to work with with ACE and with the other community groups to create these new community woodlands. Obviously, we haven't been able to get out this winter, which has been a great shame. So I'll put that slide in because we're all going to have to work that much harder next winter, I think, get out with our lump hammers to be able to, you know, deliver everything that we were hoping to, but I'm sure you're all up for that. So whatever the weather, we're hoping people will be willing to get out and help us plant more trees next winter. We're hoping to involve more families and have opportunities for families to come out and engage in woodland activity, as well as a diverse range of groups. Through the project, we're also hoping to engage with more farmers and landowners. As Neil said, farming is changing, and I'm seeing many, many more inquiries from farmers interested in tree planting, which is that's great. And so we're hoping through this project we'll be able to support farmers and other landowners in creating new woodland. Oh, and this is another exciting element that we've not had before, which is we've just employed 2 new woodland trainees. So with all this massive increase in wanting to plant more trees, we're just seeing that there's really not enough contractors and people involved in the woodland world to be able to deliver all the work. So what YDMT is trying to do is, you know, be able to support a new generation of woodland workers, really. So this is Sam and Zoe, who just started on Monday this week, and they're already out in Nidderdale planting one of the Together for Trees woodlands. So that's great. I'm really pleased to have those 2 on board. So hopefully I've shown that there's opportunities for anyone and everyone to get involved in this scheme. Because we've not been able to put on events this winter, we've been doing some online activities. So there's one there coming up that anybody's welcome to attend. If you go on our website, there's a link. There's a tree ID course. There's another woodland creation course up, and we've got some other talks that we've posted that will be on there as recorded events. If you don't fancy getting physically involved, any tree dedications are always welcome. So I think it's £10 to purchase an online tree, and that supports our work going forward. And then if you're a landowner, if you've got any land, no matter, you know, how big or small, our grant programme can support you. I think people always ask me what the minimum is, and I say, oh, it's about 100 trees, but I have been able to be persuaded to give far less than that. If you just want, you know, if you've got the space to just fit in a few trees, we can support you with that. We have woodland work parties that you'll be able to join, and obviously if you want to get involved with the Settle ACE, then we'll be working together with the group as we go forward this year. So that's me done, really. So many thanks. That photo is actually the cover of a book that YDMT produced about woodlands in the Dales. So if you would like further information specific to Dales woodlands, so there's lots and lots of books out there about trees and woodlands, but this book we produced because it was something that seemed to be missing. So this book tells you all about the woodlands local to this area. So that's available if you have a look on our website. So that's it. Thanks very much, Sarah. I'll see if I can unshare my screen.